Let us now move on to a biographical sketch of Hemingway. Hemingway was born in the year 1899 in the American state of Illinois on July 21. His father was a doctor, and in his boyhood days he spent most of his time roaming about in the woods with a rifle on his shoulder, or rowing out across the water of a large lake in quest of fish. So he often spent his time outdoors, and in the year 1917, Hemingway graduated from Oak Park High School, and the very next year, of course, the First World War broke out, and he actually tried to enlist in the army, but he was rejected because of poor eyesight. And then he went to live with an uncle in Kansas, where he found work as a reporter in a newspaper. And he came to like his job, his writing job, but he still felt that he had to get into the thick of war, and this opportunity came soon afterwards. He came to know that Italy was recruiting ambulance drivers to serve on the Italian front, and then he gave up his writing job and he became an ambulance driver in Italy during the war. Now, he was driving behind the lines for only a few days when he found that his work was very safe. In fact, it was very dull for him. Actually, he wished to serve on the front lines, so he volunteered for canteen service, and soon he was riding a bicycle, handing out mail, tobacco, chocolate to the soldiers in the trenches. And on the 10th day, when he was handing out a chocolate bar to one of the soldiers in a trench, a large shell fell nearby, and he was almost buried in the rubble, and his body was filled below the waist with over 250 pieces of shrapnel. But after he regained consciousness, he rescued a badly wounded Italian soldier, and of course around this time he was again wounded by a machine gun bullet below the left knee. So, and thus, as we see, this wound was to play a significant role in his life as well as in his fictional work. This comes back again and again as a kind of repetitive compulsion in different forms and ways. The traumatic shock and the resultant fear, which he tried to overcome by seeking danger and death, again and again had a profound impact on his life and work. Later on, as we see, he started to write, and he actually started to write, and then some of his novels started to be published, and he went to Paris to study and to make a living by writing. And here in Paris, he met and he became friendly with some of the world's greatest literary figures of that day: James Joyce, Gertrude Stein, Ezra Pound, and some other writers. Though he tried to sell his stories, he was rejected, and there was no word of encouragement for him. Actually, then he decided to write about the suffering he had endured in World War I, and he decided to put this experience on paper in the form of a novel, A Farewell to Arms. And this proved to be immensely popular, and Hemingway now found himself famous. So he ultimately became quite famous after being rejected a number of times initially.